Hello, this is Roland. I'm coming to you from the present. I'm sitting here in my room, outside, sunshine. A little bit of sunshine is filtering into the room, making some pretty shadows on the wall. It's a beautiful mid-afternoon in late summer. And I'm talking to you from the present. And I'm not talking to you from something that I thought up and pre-planned. I'm not talking to you from something in my memory. I'm not talking to you from fantasy. I'm talking to you from the present. And that is a very nice place to be in the present. And you say, well, that's pretty obvious, but it's not obvious. Because most people, if you're like most people, you spend a great portion of your day lost between your own two ears. Lost in thinking about what happened, what he said, what she said, what they did, what went wrong, or what you did right, trying to relive past glories or rearrange the past if things didn't work out quite right. Often resentfully. Why did she say that? What did she mean by that? They didn't appreciate me. The boss didn't say I did a good job. And so on. Or lost in thinking about the future. Where you're going to go, what you're going to do, what you're going to eat, what you're going to buy. Or worrying. See? And the older people get, the more they spend time either lost in worry or lost in past. Reminiscing, they call it. But you see, your life is wasting away. See, it takes energy. That's right. Did you know the brain uses up a lot of energy when it's thinking about things? So you're using up a lot of energy and time. See, people, as they get older, their life wastes away. Thinking about the past or worrying about the future. And then watching television, and watching movies, watching sports, or engaged in some useless trivia. Or wasted away fixated to other people. Especially when we resent or judge other people. See, a lady who resents her husband can spend almost all of her days thinking about him and his failure and what he's not doing right, and he's not wearing his clothes right, and he's not doing work around the house, and he's not making enough money, and he's not appreciating her, and he's not, see? Spend the whole day thinking about that. So now do you see how remarkable it is for a human being? See, that's the way people live their lives that way. I was going to say it's a remarkable thing. In the sense it is. To be in the present. Coming to you from the present and speaking from the present. Okay? And good things come out. Good things are coming out of this, of my present. See, the present is reality. See, unreality is lost in fantasy. Right? Thinking about the past, worrying about the future, that's fantasy. Reality is all around you. And reality is real, and it's true, and it's based upon truth. If you look at the world in terms of chemistry, physics, biology, it's based upon principles of math, of physics, of trigonometry, of calculus, see, and it's all true, and it's based on truth. See, math is true. Principles of biology are true. Principles of physics are true. See, it's all true. So there's something about truth that's very important. And that is why. So you either live in the truth, see, and then but if you want to, so there is truth, and there's the truth that made the truth. See, God is truth. God created the principles. He created math. He created physics. He created chemistry. He created all of it. He created humans. And based upon principles. So to the extent that you live honestly. So now, how do you separate yourself from reality, from God, from truth, from principle? Well, there's a lot of ways, but the biggest ways are, number one, what I already said. Number one on the list has to be being lost between your own two ears in fantasy and illusions and daydreams and pipe dreams and nostalgia and worrying and planning and scheming, because it's unreality. So that's one way to be separated from the truth. Another way to be separated from the truth is to become emotional. Another way is to make something more important than what's right. Make something too important. Some goal. Getting something that you want. See? Some notion that you want to make come to pass. As soon as you become goal-directed, as soon as you have a goal, any goal at all, even the goal of being a nice person, then that goal becomes more important, see, than what's true. And you focus on that goal, and reality retreats. Truth retreats. And one hypnotist called it a monoideic trance. A monoideic trance. He called hypnosis a monoideic trance, being lost in a trance over one idea. And so if you have some goal, look at somebody who makes something too important. They can spend too much money. They can do bad things. They can hurt other people. They can forget their responsibility. All over something that they make too important. See? So can you see how ambition then also separates you from reality? Because when you're ambitious, well, you have a goal, don't you? But when you make that too important, then what goes out the window? Principle. You forget principles because of what you want. See? Ambitiously. So can you see that, of course, some people are very ambitious. You see them, and you see that they have, that you see, what do we say? They don't have principles? They're ruthless? See how they separate themselves from principle. See, when you are close to principles, then they influence you. They restrain you. See, we have this animal nature. We're part animal. You really should get some of my books. Watch some more of my videos. See, of course, we're part heaven, part earth. See, we have a soul, but we're a soul in a body. So we have this animal body. And it can be wanton. It can go to extremes. It can be over emotional. It can be very excitable and nervous and so on and so forth, right? So that's what happens to us when we separate ourselves from principle. So can you see that if you become too anxious for something, impatient, can you see that impatience is a separation from reality, from truth? So when you're separated from reality, remember that reality is not only what is, but it's what made the what is. It's the principles on which what is made, and then it's also the creator of what is, who gives everything meaning. And so when you separate from truth, you're separating yourself from the protection of principles. You're separating yourself from reality, and then you can be misled, and you can be deceived and fooled and taken advantage of. Because separated from reality, you lose your perception, and you don't see what people are up to and how they're getting ready to take advantage of you. See? And then you say and do the wrong thing. You don't have understanding. So you say the wrong thing and ruin relationship with your kids. You say the wrong thing and start an argument. See? So, separated from truth. And when you become separated from truth because you're lost, see, so here's what happened. Someone makes you emotional a little bit or a lot. They suggest something that you should have or that you need, or they say you don't have it, or you're no good because you don't have it, or you're uncool because you don't have it, or you're not popular because you don't have it. They try to show that you have some lack or some fault, and you become angry or you become excited about what they're offering. They offer to get it for you. So then, in that excitement also separates you from your inner ground of good and connects you to the outside. And then connected from the restraint of conscience, of principle, of what's true, of perception, then you are misled. Then when you're misled, in other words, you spend too much, you do the wrong thing, you say the wrong thing, see? And then what happens? Then you become resentful. And eventually you have to see that you're failing. Failing with your family, failing in life, see? Even if you make a lot of money, you don't have honor, you don't have principle, you don't have character, you're not happy. So then you resent, you don't want to see that. So then, because you don't want to see that you're failing and that you don't want to see it, so what do? You escape into thoughts, into fantasy, to hide from reality. So you see the progression. So now what you need to do is to reverse all of that, to come back to reality, back to principles, back to perception, back to the inner light, back to conscience. That's what you need to do. Okay? And the last way that you separate, that I want to mention today, that you separate, that's important, the way you separate yourself from reality, you know what it is? Dishonesty. See, if you're dishonest, can you see how dishonesty is wanting to separate yourself from what's true? You see how dishonesty separates you from truth? Ipso facto, it has to be that way since you're being dishonest. You may see what the truth is, but you separate from it, deviate from it. It's dishonesty. Can you see how an excuse separates you from truth? See, let's say you do something dumb. Well, then after you've done the dumb thing in some little trance, which you don't even realize you're in a trance, you do something dumb. Then you wake up and you begin to see that you did something dumb. If you could just hold on to that awareness, don't try to do anything other than just stand there and see your own mistake without resenting seeing it. But you don't want to admit that you made a mistake. You want to preserve your pride and save face. So what do? You make an excuse. You don't want to see that you were under somebody else's direction, that you were under some other influence. So what do? You make an excuse, and the excuse is a denial of the truth. Okay? So if you want to come back to reality, here's a couple of things you can do. First of all, you can be honest with yourself. Okay? For the time being, let's not talk about being honest with others. Well, don't lie to others. Okay? Don't lie to them. That's important. Don't lie to them. Don't take advantage. Just be honest. Okay? But don't go tell your boss off. See, a lot of times we suppress speaking up, and then all of a sudden we speak up with anger and we say the wrong thing. So just spend a little time with yourself. Don't go out and try to change the world. Okay? Spend a little time with yourself and be honest. If you don't know, then admit that you don't know. If you mess up, just see that you messed up. If you can't help yourself, then just say, I can't help myself. Okay? Don't make an excuse. Don't make any excuse. Okay? Just live very simply. Say what you mean what you say, but above all, be honest with yourself. Within, you don't even have to tell any other people. You don't say to people, oh, I messed up. Just quietly see that you did, or see that you didn't get it quite right, or see that you somehow didn't get it right and you don't even know how, but you just didn't. Just see that. So now you're getting closer to reality. And then the other thing, of course, is that you can start to use my meditation. My meditation helps you to practice being in the present and not lost in thought. See, even if you are in the present and not lost in thought, see, even for just a second, in that second, you already have made contact with reality, and something good from reality flows into you. See? So you could get the meditation and begin practicing being in reality, where the birds are singing, and the sky is blue, and you hear little noises around. Reality. Practice being in reality and not lost in your thoughts. Okay? So I've given you a couple of clues as to how to start turning your life around. My name is Roland.